Good day, good people, and welcome to Contemplative Interbeing on the Mighty Network. If you will, let me know in the chat section that you can hear me okay. I have made some adjustments to the microphone and the audio settings, so I'm hoping to have a little bit crisper sound and more consistent sound tonight. So please feel free at any time tonight if there's an audio or video issue just to let me know in the chat section and we'll work to get those corrected. On my side, everything looks good. Even the video looks well. This year we are exploring different aspects of radical resilience. And tonight we're going to be reflecting on homecoming, and what that actually means will become apparent in a little bit. Excuse me. But first, let's take a moment and center down, as Howard Thurman says, to take a gentle, deep breath and find your feet, find your seat, find your heartbeat. With each inhale and exhale, we can let go of the busyness of the day, of the planning for the week. And just to be present and be here. To take a breath and move from our head to our heart. And our practice is to do what we can to listen from that heart space. Friends, whether you are here for the live session or watching the recording, we are so grateful for your presence. At any time during the evening, if you would like to share something in the chat section, anything at all, a question, a comment, a reflection, or maybe you just want to share your notes as you go along. That's all quite all right. Friends, there comes a moment, it's often subtle, it's often disguised as loss, when the noise of achievement grows quiet and something quieter still begins to call. Not a shout, not even a voice, but a stirring, a vibration in the chest, like a bell ringing underwater. This is not the beginning, though it feels like it. It is the middle of a sacred remembering. For the soul, it turns out, has always been on its way home. And letting go into God is coming home to our true selves. Not a fleeing, not a turning away from life, but a full and trembling surrender into the center of it all, into the heart that has never stopped beating with divine rhythm. Let me know if you have had this longing, this aching pull does not arise from deficiency, but from abundance. It is not a lack that drives the soul, but a fullness that has yet to be embraced. The world offers glittering distractions, but beneath even the shiniest promises lies a thread of yearning, thin but unbreakable. Homecoming is the sacred journey of returning to our true self. A movement both backward and forward, guided by a deep inner longing for the original and ultimate union with the divine. Yes, we are both driven and called forward by a kind of deep homesickness. It is the scent of bread baking in another room. It is the moment before waking when all is peace and no story has yet returned. Something ancient and soft-spoken beckons through the noise. Come, return, remember. And so it becomes clear. The journey, this journey, has a peculiar shape. Time folds. It does not move straight. What was left behind is found ahead. And somehow, the end is the beginning, and the beginning points toward the end. The soul has never been lost, only layered. Like a seed cracking open under the weight of warmth, what once seemed dormant begins to stir. The spiritual path is less about progress than about presence, less about traveling far and more about removing what obscures what already is. Yet, the outer world keeps time differently. It rushes, it demands. But the soul is not impressed by efficiency. The soul lives in eternally deep time. There is no need to rush what is eternal. Trees don't grow by hurrying, and rivers do not carve valleys through speed. Now the soul asks only for attention, slow, reverent attention, and responds by opening like a flower to the morning sun. In this slowing, something unexpected happens. The illusions begin to fall away. The mask so carefully crafted begin to slip. And our understanding of the second half of life is mostly this homesickness for the true self. And this sickness is not sentimental. It is clarifying. It clears the fog of shoulds and must. And what remains is a quiet clarity, like mist lifting from a lake at dawn. And the deeper self does not shout. It whispers and it waits. Still, the descent into truth is not always gentle. There are thresholds that burn on contact. But this burning is not destruction. It is purification. This falling is grace. The slowing is grace. It is the undoing of what never truly was, so that what has always been may be seen and touched and lived. And so the false self, the costume stitched together from fear and striving, begins to unravel. Our self-created self gives us a nice trail to walk on, but it really isn't us. That trail may have brought structure and even comfort, but it was never home. The real path winds inward, often hidden beneath the underbrush of expectations, and it is quieter there, and it's also truer. The way opens only as one walks, and it demands only what can be carried in the heart. Take a moment to return to your breath and let it travel to your heart. There is a holy ache at the center of all of this. An ache that does not go away but deepens, drawing us forward like gravity. And there is an inherent and desirous dissatisfaction that both sends and draws us forward. It is the feeling of being held by something larger than one's own will. And it is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be honored. This sacred restlessness, when trusted, becomes a guide more faithful than certainty. Some speak of it as a wound, others as a flame. Either way, it glows beneath the surface. And perhaps it was never meant to be cured, this homesickness. Perhaps it is the very way the soul reminds the body that something more, something deeper, something enduring awaits just beyond what the eyes can see. And when this resistance softens, when the rush to get somewhere finally collapses into stillness, there is the discovery that nothing was missing. And when we return to the place in us where God dwells, we know we are no longer interested in making it a quick visit. And friends, the sacred does not live elsewhere. The temple has always been within. And the true self is not a future achievement, but a present unveiling. The true self is not a future achievement, but a present unveiling. And you see, home is not a location, it is a presence. And it is already here. Before we return to the silence once again, let me share a little recap, because the spiritual journey is not a climb to new heights, but a descent into what has already been true. It is a return to the indwelling presence of God, a homecoming to the true self. And the mystical lesson is that longing is not a flaw, but a sacred guide. Longing is not a flaw. It is a sacred guide, an echo of divine origin and destination. You see, friends, time folds around the soul, and in the quiet recognition of eternal belonging, our false self dissolves. And this is a radical invitation to trust the ache, to listen to the slow wisdom of the soul, and to rest in the truth that God is not found elsewhere, but within. Thus, homesickness becomes holy when it draws the soul back to itself. So we will enter into silent meditation together for a few minutes and let this deepen within your soul and maybe see what arises. Taking a gentle deep breath. Home is not a location. It is a presence. It is a presence that is available with each breath. Continue to feel free to share in the chat section at any time. You don't have to wait for me to pause. We are in community here, so and remember too, your sharing is also a service because it helps others. Friends, true home is not bound by brick and mortar, not even about the walls that surround us, though we may walk through them daily. It is not where our bodies sleep, nor where we eat, or where we find shelter from the storm. True home whispers in the quiet corners of the heart, a place of belonging that stretches beyond the confines of physical space. Imagine it as a vast open sky that cradles the earth in its infinite embrace, soft and tender, where the wind carries the ancient scent of unity and the soil holds the memory of every step ever taken. It is a quiet space where no door is locked, where no part of you is cast aside, and where love flows like an endless river, gently inviting the heart to rest. Indeed, home is where the heart is. This deep inner reality of home is the quiet pulse of grace, the gentle presence that calls from within. Often when all external circumstances are loud with distraction, it does not scream for attention, but calls softly, patiently from the depths. Home is both an external dwelling and an internal abode. It is a place of knowing, an intimate sanctuary where all parts of oneself are welcome to find peace. This kind of home is not about the things we possess or the spaces we inhabit. It is a place where one can finally breathe fully, a space where all is accepted, where no judgment can pierce the soul. It is the soft exhale after years of holding one's breath, the sigh of release after a lifetime of seeking. The journey toward this home is not a direct path, nor is it always easy. It is a winding road, sometimes brambled with the sharp edges of fear and pain, other times smooth by moments of healing and grace. But every step, even the ones that seem to lead astray, carry us closer to the truth of what it means to belong. The teachings of the ancients invite us to trust this journey, to lean into it with both vulnerability and courage. Because if we go to the depths of anything, we will begin to knock upon something substantial, real, and with a timeless quality. True home is not found in the shallows of life, not in the fleeting moments of joy that pass in an instant, but in the deep waters, in the spaces that ask us to dive beneath the surface. It is in the depths of our sorrow, in the fullness of our grief, that we begin to understand what it means to belong. These are the moments when love can enter the soul, heal them, and transform them into vessels of connection. This journey into true home begins with honest self-knowing, a willingness to peer into the deepest corners of the soul. And it requires a radical honesty, one that does not shy away from the shadows, but instead embraces them as part of the whole. Whether self-protecting or hiding, one thing is true: neither posture offers the soul any type of rest. Hiding from what is true only deepens the sense of separation. But when we begin to accept all parts of ourselves, we begin to recognize that every brokenness, every failure is not a flaw, but a part of the intricate design of who we are. Every part of the journey is sacred. And when we allow ourselves to be truly known, we find a welcome that transcends time and space. You see, true home is not a place that is outside, but one that is birthed from within. A place where we are free to be exactly who we are without fear of rejection. It is here, in this inner home, that the soul finds rest and peace. And it is not something that can be earned or sought through external achievements. It is a space that does not demand perfection or performance, only the willingness to be present with our own truth. And it is here that we discover a deeper love for ourselves, one that allows us to rest, to be without constantly striving for something more. And this home is the foundation of our spiritual journey, the place from which we can step out into the world with compassion and understanding, knowing that we are always held in love. As the journey deepens, we come to recognize that true home is always within reach. It is not a destination that lies somewhere ahead, far in the distance, or far in the future. It is here, now, waiting to be discovered in the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the stillness beneath the noise. And when we pause long enough to listen, we hear the call of home inviting us to return. It is not a place that can be found by running or searching. Heaven, union, love, home now emerge from within us, much more than from a mere belief system or a belonging system, which both of those largely remain outside of the self. And this is the radical shift, the realization that everything we have ever sought in the outer world is already within us, already part of our own nature. In a moment, we'll take a few more minutes in the silence to give you time to meditate, whether you want to do that silently or discursive meditation, and think more about what you've heard. Before the silence, just a mini recap, because true home is not a destination. It is an unfolding inner reality of belonging, love, and union. an inner reality of belonging, love, and union. And it emerges through spiritual depth, through honest self-knowledge, and through the practice of embracing both light and shadow. Home is not external, nor does it depend on circumstances. It is found in the quiet spaces where the soul can rest and where we can be fully accepted. As the psalmist says, "Be still and know that I am God." And friends, this homecoming requires deep spiritual courage, as it asks for radical honesty and a willingness to embrace the full spectrum of our humanity. And as we come to recognize this inner reality, we realize that love, belonging, and union are not distant, are not external. They are the very essence of who we are, already within, waiting to be discovered. And this is why we value the practice of so much together. A gentle deep breath. Be here now. Coming home to yourself. Coming home to your soul. Coming home to God. Friends, we have some time for conversation, and I'm so interested in hearing what's coming up for you. Any comments or reflections or questions, all is welcome. Please feel free to share anything in the chat that you'd like. Let us all learn from one another. I want to express my gratitude for your trust in showing up here. Although I go through the process of outlining and writing and looking at resources and putting together the flow of things, it is in the expression of it towards you, for you, that I tend to just take it and understand it at an even deeper level. So thank you for receiving it and being present to it, because it certainly helps me. You all are very quiet tonight. Extending happy Mother's Day wishes to all of those, to you if you're a mother, and to your mothers, those who would be mothers and stepmothers and foster mothers. Okay, friends. Well, until next time, may you find rest in the deep home within, where all parts of you are welcome, where love flows like an endless river. May the quiet stirring of grace lead you ever inward to a place where belonging is not earned but simply received. And as you journey through the world, may you walk with the knowing that your true home is not a distant dream, but a present reality, always here, always within. Until next time, friends, blessings to all. Good night.